Technology and
Something.
technology MD.
Yeah, one of
Good evening and welcome to the 543rd meeting of the City of Laurel Planning Commission. If you wish to be heard at this meeting, please sign the speaker list provided on the table at the side of the council chamber. And the chairman does reserve the right to limit the amount of time each speaker has for each agenda item. I currently have people signed up for each of items 3, 4, and 5. Ms. Green, if you would please call the roll.
Councilman Smalls, Mr. Welford,
Here.
Mr. Williford, Mr. Wilson, Mr. Kish,
Here.
Chairwoman Bettman.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Agenda item 2, approval of the minutes from the September 3rd, 2016 meeting. We have each received a copy of those. Are there any questions or comments? If not, I will entertain a motion.
You got it.
Second.
You got the motion.
Ms. Green, if you would call the roll, please.
Mr. Kish,
Yes.
Mr. Welford.
Yes.
Chairwoman Bettman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item 3, special exception application number 863-9701, Fort Meade Road, Suite 200, filed by the Shadow of the Almighty Ministries for recommendation to the Board of Appeals. I believe Christian?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening. The applicant, Shadow of the Almighty Ministries, is seeking special exception approval to operate a house of worship at 9701 Fort Meade Road, Suite 200. The subject property, known as Stewart Village Shopping Center, was annexed into the city in 2014 by Charter Resolution Number 166, Annexation 2-2014. The property is currently zoned Commercial General. The church will also provide other services to their members, such as Bible study, prayer meetings, counselors by appointment. The church has never had conducted weddings or funerals. However, if they do in the future, they plan not to coincide at the same times as the Amish market. In fact, that was one of the agreements in the condition of the church, that they will not operate at the same time as the Amish market, and the Amish market currently operates Thursday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Friday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. The proposed agreement to not operate during the same time as the Amish market will help eliminate any parking and traffic issues that possibly could occur on site. The church plans to have a 100-seat auditorium for their services, and that requires 25 parking spaces according to the code. The site has a total of 203 parking spaces. The proposed house of worship meets the criteria for granting a special exception according to Section 20-21.01, and staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of special exception number 863 to the City of Laurel Board of Appeals with the following conditions. The applicant shall obtain a City of Laurel use and occupancy permit, and the applicant shall not operate during the following hours when the Dutch Amish market is open, which is Thursday 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Friday 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Nope. Okay. I do have one person signed up to speak, Mr. Anthony Adenikinju. Welcome. If you would please come to the mic and state your name and address for the record. Did you want to speak or did you just want to answer questions?
Actually, I just want to answer questions.
Okay.
I'm available for questions.
Are there any questions for the applicant?
No, I think she
I think Christian covered that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
If there are no questions for staff or the applicant, I will entertain a motion.
Okay. Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the special exception application number 863 for 9701 Fort Meade Road, Suite 200, for a recommendation to the Board of Appeals.
Including the staff report?
including the recommendation from the staff report.
Thank you. Do I have a
And
second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Ms. Green, if you would call the roll, please.
Mr. Welford?
Yes.
Mr. Kish?
Yes.
Chairwoman Bettman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item 4, special exception application number 864, 1 2nd Street, filed by Mastec Network Solutions, Verizon Wireless, for recommendation to the Board of Appeals. Mr. Grace.
Yes, good evening. Applicant Joshua Shikola, on behalf of Verizon Wireless, is seeking a special exception approval to install 12 panel antennas as well as an equipment platform with cabinets on the roof of the Quality Inn and Suites building located at 1 2nd Street. The property was constructed in 1964 and is zoned commercial general. The property is bordered by Howard County to the north and commercial general and commercial village properties to the east, west, and south. The staff recommends that the City of Laurel Planning Commission recommend approval to the City of Laurel Board of Appeals for special exception number 864 with the following conditions. Applicant shall provide a letter from a structural engineer that states the roof can support the load of proposed antenna equipment. Applicant shall obtain a City of Laurel permits prior to the installation of the antennas. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
Not from my.
John, any questions?
Do they have other antennas in the Laurel area?
We approved the ones on the gas station, correct? So that, these are similar to those.
Correct.
Remember,
Okay.
I think it was the Exxon at the intersection of Route 1 and.
We've approved so many. I just wanted
Yeah.
to know if they were the same company. Okay.
Yeah,
That's all
when
I
I
have.
read it, it looked to me that it was similar to those that we had approved. Thank you. I do have 2 people signed up to speak. If you would please state your name and address for the record.
Sure. Good evening. For the record, Greg Diamond with law offices in Bethesda, Maryland. I'm counsel for Verizon Wireless. Also with me is Josh Shikola, who's a consultant working with Verizon Wireless to get this application filed. I want to thank staff. We agree with with the report as well as their conditions. There was actually 1 comma in this report that I wanted to ask you to just make note of. On page 4 of staff report, under numbered paragraph 1, it states one of the conditions that has to be proven that in harmony, blah, blah, blah.
No comma.
And then it says no comma, rezoning is required. That comma shouldn't be there. It's
No rezoning.
rezoning is required. Just
It's a typo.
really changes the outcome a little. We're very happy with the zone we're in. It's a use of right with the special exception. And so with that one change, we look for your support. Thank you.
Nathan, or Jack, no problem making that change. Does that have to be incorporated into the motion in any way? No?
I don't
Okay,
think so,
thank
Madam.
you.
All right, thank you.
Did Josh want to speak or only if questions? Thank you very much. Are there any questions of the applicant? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Let me get this. I don't have my
Here.
glasses.
Oh. I'll use my readers.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that the Planning Commission recommend
number 4.
to the Board of Appeals special exception applications number 864-1 filed by Mastec Network Solutions, Verizon Wireless for recommend to the Board of Appeals.
Do I have a
Sorry about
second?
that.
Billy, do I have a second?
Yes, second.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Ms. Green?
Mr. Kish?
Yes.
Mr. Welford?
Yes.
Chairwoman Bettman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night. Agenda item 5, special exception application number 865, 154 Lafayette Avenue, Suite C, filed by Big City Body Art for recommendation to the Board of Appeals. Christian?
Good evening again. The applicant, Big City Body Art, is seeking special exception approval to operate a tattoo and body piercing studio at 154 Lafayette Avenue, Suite C. The property is zoned industrial commercial services, and the site is surrounded by other industrial zones, the train tracks, and some single-family residential dwelling units. The applicant plans to operate the studio Sunday through Saturday from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. with occasional appointment times as well. If approved, this will be the first tattoo and body piercing studio for the city of Laurel. Currently on site, there are 55 parking spaces. The Public Works Department currently does not pick up hazardous or medical waste materials. However, the applicant has secured a private contractor to pick up their hazardous materials from the property. A copy of the contract will be submitted to the Public Works Department because that was one of their comments in their report. Furthermore, the applicant also is interested in starting a local mentoring program for troubled youth within the city. Usually, the Department of Parks and Recreation handles youth programs, and the director for that department asked that the applicant coordinate with her on those joint efforts. The applicant understands the requirements that come with special exception approval and is eager to work with city staff to ensure compliance with all regulations take place. Therefore, staff recommends that the City of Laurel Planning Commission recommend approval to the City of Laurel Board of Appeals for special exception number 865 with the following conditions. The applicant shall comply with all applicable federal, state, local laws, rules, and regulations, included but not limited to Occupational Safety and Health Administration and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The applicant shall comply with the procedures outlined in the Infection Prevention and Exposure Control Plan. The applicant shall obtain a valid City of Laurel use and occupancy permit. The applicant shall ensure that all waste from tattooing or piercing is discarded in medical packing for appropriate trash pickup to be provided by a private medical waste contractor. The applicant shall work with the Department of Parks and Recreation Director or her designee on mentoring programs, activities for troubled youth. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
None for me.
I have a John Ryan signed up. Welcome, if you would like to state your name and address.
I'm strictly here for any questions that you guys may have, so.
Thank you. Are you the owner?
I am one of the owners.
One of the owners. Welcome.
Thank you.
Any questions for the applicant?
None.
None? Thank you.
I just have one additional comment.
Yes.
I just like to state that the applicant signed proposed regulations that will be heard by the council.
Oh, that's correct. Okay, so this has not gone in front of the city council, correct?
For the regulations
For
portion.
regulations.
Right.
Okay. And so our recommendation basically to the Board of Appeals is then conditional on whatever their regulations are, making sure that you're in agreement with those, and you're still putting the
That's correct.
application forward.
And the condition number 1 covers that. It
Okay.
states that they have to be compliant with everything.
Do you you understand that?
Everything.
Okay.
I don't understand.
Okay, let me see if John's not quite clear. Recommendation 1 states that the applicant shall comply with all federal, state, and local laws. The city laws have not been reviewed and finalized by the city council.
Right.
So the applicant, so if they had gone to the city council, this would be a clear approval where the owner applicant would say, yes, I agree with that, and go forward. So our approval tonight would still send it forward, and it would basically be only the applicant who would stop it if the applicant then had an issue, correct?
Right, the reason, with the applicant signing the proposed regulations is the reason why it's able to move forward, because they're agreeing to the draft document that the council will receive.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion.
Read this.
Madam Chair, I would also like to just make a statement that I had the opportunity to take a little tour of the shop down there on Lafayette Avenue, and it's very nice. It's real nice in there. It's very well operated, and they have all the ends covered. Everything is supposed to be done, regulations and everything, they got it all covered. They're pros at this. They're not just starting out. They've been doing this for a while, and it's obvious the way they have their place set up. So I think it's going to be a great service to have here in the city of Laurel, and especially since there are no other ones. So with that, I'll make a motion to recommend approval to the City of Laurel Board of Appeals for special exception number 865 with the following conditions that are listed and have been stated by staff.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
And I will second that. I just wanted to ask Billy if he got any samples while he was there.
No, but I was telling the guys there, I met them out front here, and when I got home from the shop there, my little 4-year-old granddaughter was in the house and overheard me telling my wife that I had been down at the tattoo shop and checking it out. And she said, well, Pop, if you get a tattoo, it's just going to wash off in the shower. So that's,
We do have a motion and a second and a little bit of a sidebar. Ms. Green, if you would call the roll, please.
Never heard.
Mr. Walford,
yes.
Mr. Kish.
Yes.
Chairwoman Bettman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, and thank you all. All right, there is no other business before us. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, John. It was nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to see you.